There really are no rules
No
in fashion.
rules.
I don't think it's enough to just make pretty clothes anymore. There has to be some other reason to do it. You don't have to be everything for everybody. You just have to be something for someone. And sometimes if that someone is a first lady or Oprah, it kind of works out great.
I'm Paula Wallace, president and founder of the Savannah College of Art and Design. For over 4 decades, Scad students have found inspiration and mentorship from the leading creative voices that visit our university. Now we're sharing these experiences with others who are drawn to the creative life. Welcome to On Creativity. I'm so glad to have you back here again.
Thank you for having me.
I'm just so overjoyed that we get to host your very first museum exhibition.
Me too.
And I would have to say, opening night was a triumph.
Yeah, it was. It was wild. Alicia Silverstone came. She was one of the guests, and she was like, "Oh my God, you're like a Beatle." And I was like, "Oh, fabulous."
It's no surprise that Christian's first ever museum exhibition opened to a packed house. The Scad Museum of Art buzzed with admirers, eager to congratulate the designer on his amazing achievement, including a few of his favorite muses.
Seeing Christian Siriano's first big show at Scad is so exciting. This explosion of colorful joy and a celebration of women. And I've always felt celebrated by him, and that's what fashion should be. He's got his girls here tonight. We love him and we're very loyal.
From glamorous gowns to gender-defying showstoppers, Siriano's creations have been the focus of unforgettable fashion weeks and red carpet moments, and worn by the world's biggest stars. The People Are People exhibition at Scad features dozens of Siriano's most memorable designs.
There's 2 gowns here that I wore. He's so talented, so it's beautiful.
This is one of a kind. I mean, I don't know how many designers can say that they have dressed this many women, all different shapes and sizes and colors. So I'm really excited for my friend.
What do you think unites this collection? Is there a through line other than, of course, being designed by the best?
The title, People Are People, I think that's kind of what unites it. Beautiful mix of like different bodies and genders and age. I think it's showing that there is maybe a designer like myself that is kind of showing the world that it can be that way.
How long have you been in the biz?
I guess I started really in 2007. I've made a lot of clothes since then.
Thank you for selecting all the beautiful garments and helping to really teach the students some of your hard-won knowledge.
Well, one, I picked things that I knew I had in the archives.
That's good.
So that's good. Because in my really first few collections, we sold a lot of the clothes. So, which is really sad now that I go back on it, but we need the money. So, and I really like the money. I felt like I picked things that were, memorable, even if nobody really knew anything about the dress that just I loved, that I feel like didn't get enough of a moment.
Well, I think they all have cultural and sociological significance of one sort or another, as well as being just beautiful. So there's something for everyone in this exhibition.
I love when you turn the corner and you're like hit with the color and you're like, whoa. And then I was like, wow, I use a lot of color in my work. Who knew? Sometimes I forget because, when you see it all together, it's like a rainbow of the world of things that we've made, so it's kind of wild.
It's what I try to do at Scad, is have surprise and delight around every corner. And that's certainly true.
Yeah, it is.
Walking in to your exhibition.
I think the color, how it transitions was really important because I think if it wasn't in that kind of gradation, I think it could have maybe looked a bit too much because everything is so exuberant and sculptural and has a lot of shape, and so I think it was nice that we kind of kept it in its kind of color tone.
But each one has its little moment.
Yeah, it does.
And I think the tiering of the exhibition contributes to that.
And to like be in a room of like joy and color is always nice.
Well, as our students experience your exhibit, they are enthralled they have already been in there sketching
I
and
know.
taking notes
Yeah.
and just dwelling in that space because it brings them, joy and they learn from it. But to have you there, and have all these garments, they were just over the top, overjoyed.
Okay, ready? Go.
One piece that I feel kind of encapsulates the entire message is that regal gown that you designed for Leslie Jones.
Yeah.
So maybe walk us through that historic moment that really started on Twitter.
When Leslie, couldn't find a dress to wear, a woman like her, powerful comedic actress, maybe who wasn't the typical size or person that people would want to dress at the time, she really changed the game by one little tweet, kind of like get it together world.
Yeah, kind of throwing down the gauntlet.
Yeah, she really did. So I think it really helped open the doors to that conversation. A lot of my most iconic things have been people that are kind of the underdog a little bit, or you really didn't know that much about them, and now they're so celebrated, which is, I think, really cool to see.
It is. I'm told that the most popular look there is the Billy Porter tuxedo. And I heard that he wanted the camera to kind of come in on the tuxedo and then reveal the ball gown skirt.
That was actually his first kind of big event, and I think he wanted to start with a bang. So I think that being a kind of catapult, showing this like gender bending world that we live in now. It reminds me of 17th, 18th century where men were so dressed, know? And I think it was very important because I think it showed a young generation that you can wear what you want to wear. There really are no rules in fashion. And there's no one saying like what you should be able to wear. We had to still keep it, I think, tasteful because the Oscars, the Academy Awards, I felt like that was still important to make sure it was still on par with the night. So I think keeping it like classic velvet.
It's just delicious.
Yeah, exactly. It was. Designers are controlling because it's our work. It's differently. When a painter finishes a painting, it gets hung on a wall and then it's untouched. Yeah. Whereas like as a designer, we work and create and work so hard on a piece, but then it's out of our hands, and that can be really tough. Like I don't control like how it gets styled or how they, walk in it. I have no idea what's gonna happen. So I have to let go and let the muse do what they want to do. And Billy is a great muse because Billy can work a dress, so that was helpful.
He can work a dress.
He can work a dress.
He can work a dress.
Exactly.
Well, speaking of controlling, would you call yourself a perfectionist?
I think it's like you have to be perfectionist because
it's your work.
It's my work.
It's your name.
It's my
your
name.
Reputation.
Yeah, I'm controlling because I want to make sure that it's like exactly what I want it to be. Yeah. So I think it's okay.
But you seem like you always had that confidence.
I definitely did. Like I said, you have to be in it till the end. Till literally you let go of it, you have to kind of be attached to it.
But it's so much a part of people's special moments that, I would think it's an honor to participate, but you're right. Then they wear it and they might spill wine on it.
Who knows what happens? Oh my God, we've seen it all. Let me tell you, I've had clothes come back. Who knows what happened to that? But then I realized, and I'm like, oh, well, maybe they had a really good night in it.
Okay, so
it worked out.
It was part of a wonderful occasion. The Lizzo regal gown, I love that one.
Well, that gown was important because I think, Lizzo won her first Grammy in that dress, but Lizzo also has changed the game and what a pop star can be,
true.
Which is also exciting that I get to like work with people who are brave. And I think it's so important for like a younger generation to be inspired by.
When Christian comes to Scad, he always spends time with students to share his insight and expertise. And on this visit, he brought his sister Shannon along for a special conversation.
People ask me, did your brother dress you up when you were younger? And my answer is yes.
Yes. Was I bossy? Yeah.
When we were younger, my brother would follow me around. He would want to hang out with my friends. And now the tables have turned.
Christian is comfortable and compelling on stage in front of our Scad audiences, but he tells me our students give back to him as much as he offers them. You've been a guest educator at Scad.
Yeah.
What inspires you when you talk to this next generation of fashion professionals?
They have so many ideas, especially the fashion students here, I think have so much creative ideas, and I think sometimes ideas are worth everything. You know, you don't have to be the best, you know, sewer or seamstress, but if you have ideas, like, you can really do something.
You've always been the vanguard voice for inclusivity, and your leadership has contributed leaps and bounds in the sphere of inclusion. But we all know there are miles to go yet. How do you see that positive space growing into the future?
I mean, I think what's really nice is it's changed so much. We're now in a time where we're kind of like celebrating people for what they are and who they are, and I've kind of always done that because I think people are interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, they are. I'm like so curious. I've always been a very curious person, probably because I was like kind of an eccentric kid, so then I don't know, I didn't want to be judged. And I think we're in a better place, but there's so much to do. I mean, there's still a lot of fashion brands that do nothing in this idea.
Isn't that surprising?
Yeah, it's hilarious.
When you see that now, though, that seems surprising.
It is.
Whereas before,
it was the norm, you know? So I think that's been really great to see, that kind of cultural shift. I don't think it's enough to just make pretty clothes anymore. There has to be some other reason to do it, or else the job is too hard. You know, fashion is a really hard business, so.
Yeah, it is a hard
business.
It's
really, really hard, which people forget.
What would you say to young people who are in search of their voice?
Find your passion and like what you love. You know, you should be confident about it. I mean, lots of people don't like my work, but I still do it, and I still.
Who?
I mean, you know, I always say
Your
that, like,
mom and I will take them on.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, see, I've got good people behind me. But I do think that that's very important, that, like, you know, my work is not for everybody, and I always will know that. But I don't think that that ever means it's not good. And I think that that is important for any young artist, designer, creator, that, you know, you don't have to be everything for everybody. You just have to be something for someone. And sometimes if that someone is a first lady or Oprah, it kind of works out great. Everything that fashion is, it's such an instant reaction. People judge it in a second. Whereas like a painter, it's not judged the same way. You know, people sit there and they look at it and they think about it and they try to figure out what it is. Whereas in fashion, you're like, oh my God, I hate it. But why? Like, why do you hate it? Like, what did it do to you, you know? So that's now my new thinking about it.
But I think transitioning your work into a museum exhibition, it does put it on that plane of people can come back and reflect on it and think about it, and it deserves that.
It's nice to see it that way.
Fans and followers of Christian's work eagerly react to anything he does and take every opportunity they can to dive into his process. And for those who may not have one of his celebrated designs, his sketches may be the next best thing. The elegance and vibrancy of your sketches is enthralling, and what a treat Dresses to Dream About is. So I know one time before you told me that dreams sometimes inspire you and kind of sketches emerge from dreams. That's kind of mystical and magical. Like, how does that happen?
Sometimes my collections or my clothes, like, have nothing to do with anything. They're just thoughts. You don't have to have such a specific idea necessarily.
No. And everything really is converges. You're one person.
Yeah.
So all of your experiences converge in one person.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's why I love to sketch, because it's just a visceral, quick reaction. The book shows that, like, what my sketch kind of starts with, and then kind of the process and how it turns into what it turns into.
Over the years that I've known Christian, I've come to appreciate his unique vision. Fashion design, of course, but also for the home. The launch of Christian Siriano Interiors paved the way for even more avenues of expression. You and I share a love for antiques and vibrant colors and beautiful interiors. And I know you probably noticed that we have a lot of vintage items around and about all the interiors.
Taking everything.
And I've heard interior designers often observe how a client dresses, though, to think about how to design for an interior. How do you think fashion and interior design are connected?
Now that I'm kind of in the interior space and I've been doing homes.
You started with your own, of course.
Started with my own, and now we've kind of turned it into like a nice little business that's really also just fun because it's something I love.
Yeah, and if you want to collect things, then you need to, like,
I need to
at least think you have a purpose.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I'm shopping for furniture every day. What should I do with it?
Yeah, what should I do with it?
Exactly. But I love that, like, I can design a home, and the client is like in her Christian Siriano dress, in her Christian Siriano home, sitting on her Christian Siriano pillows. I know, and then I'm like, oh God, I'm like, is this dark? I'm like, what are we doing? No, but then it's fabulous.
It's all coming out of one person. Yeah.
And I think like obviously there's such talented interior designers, oh my God, that can create such amazing spaces. I approach fabrics in a different way than maybe an interior designer would. So I like to use that as a part of kind of my process.
So all these different purposes, I mean, do you have different approaches to designing furniture, interior design, or fashion?
What's nice about the interior world, well, there's not as much of a deadline, which I love. Someone has to wear the dress like tomorrow. The event is tomorrow. The wedding is tomorrow. But with interiors, you get to build on it a little bit more. It's over time. It's kind of a trickle effect. Oh, I put a chair here. Maybe we'll change the linens here. Or we'll add a vase here. It's kind of nice.
And especially if you live within a space, it evolves.
Oh, of course. Yeah, like that's actually the best part.
Do you have a dream client or a dream space that you're thinking about for interior design, like a cottage in the mountains or a loft and sofa?
I want to do everything.
Pied-à-terre in Paris.
Yeah, we're doing a new hotel project, which is exciting, my first one. And
wow. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, the London Hotel in California. We're going to do a big penthouse for them, a Christian Siriano penthouse. Fabulous. Sounds great.
All right, it's time for lightning definitions with Christian Siriano.
Okay.
And I know you're quick on your feet. I know you can handle it because you're Christian Siriano.
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Fluid.
My reaction to the word fluid is how I approach everything.
Chartreuse.
God, I love chartreuse.
Me too.
I know, so fabulous. Chartreuse is electric and I think can change your whole body.
Attitude.
Oh God, everything you need to make it in the fashion business.
Beauty.
Oh, undefined. That's my answer to beauty. Because I think we'll forever be undefined.
Thank you so much for being such a close friend to Scad, Christian.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
For being here. We love sharing time with you, and thank you for sharing your intellect and your experience with all of our students. And this exhibit! I know it's going to be loved by thousands and thousands of people.
I hope
who will
so.
come back time and again.